Wonders without end, a journey through the miracles of the Bible. In the beginning, before there were footprints upon the earth or breath within human lungs, there was the greatest miracle of all, existence itself. Darkness lay silent and unformed, and then the voice of God broke the stillness. Light burst forth like a river of fire across the heavens. Stars ignited. Oceans swelled into their basins. Mountains rose as if summoned by divine hands. The earth bloomed with color and fragrance, and life awakened in abundance. Every sunrise became a quiet testimony, every living creature a whisper of power. Creation itself was the first sign that the impossible bends at the sound of God's command. Then came humanity, shaped from dust yet filled with breath that carried eternity. To be alive was a miracle. To love, to choose, to hope, all miracles hidden within the ordinary rhythm of a heartbeat. But the story of miracles does not end with creation. It unfolds like a tapestry woven with wonder, mercy, and divine interruption. When corruption spread and violence darkened the earth, hope seemed swallowed by chaos. Yet in the days of Noah, a miracle of preservation arose. A man listened when others would not. An ark was built under clear skies, a vessel of faith before the first drop of rain. And when the floodwaters came, covering mountains and swallowing cities, life was carried safely above the storm. The rainbow that followed was more than color in the clouds. It was a covenant painted across the sky, a promise that mercy would always follow judgment. Generations later, another miracle stirred beneath desert stars. Abraham and Sarah, aged and weary from waiting, were promised a child when time itself seemed to have passed them by. Laughter turned to astonishment when Isaac was born. Proof that hope does not expire and that no barrenness is beyond divine touch. From that child would rise a people, and through that people, blessings for the world. Miracles often bloom in the most unlikely soil. Joseph, betrayed by his brothers and cast into a pit, sold into slavery and imprisoned unjustly, seemed forgotten. Yet dreams, mysterious and prophetic, guided his path. In a foreign land, through divine wisdom, he interpreted visions that would save nations from famine. What was meant for harm became salvation. The miracle was not only in the dreams, but in redemption, in the quiet turning of evil into good. Then came a cry from Egypt, a people enslaved, backs bent beneath oppression, and into the desert silence God spoke from a bush engulfed in flame, yet never consumed. Fire without destruction, holy presence in ordinary wilderness. Moses trembled, but miracles followed obedience. Plagues struck Egypt, water turning to blood, darkness swallowing daylight, hail falling like judgment from the heavens. Each sign declared that power belongs not to kings, but to the eternal. And when freedom finally came, it came through a sea that parted at the raising of a staff. Walls of water stood trembling as an entire nation walked across dry ground. The Red Sea became a corridor of deliverance. Behind them, the waters closed, chains broken forever. In the wilderness, miracles became daily bread. Manna fell like dew each morning. Water flowed from struck rock. Shoes did not wear out. A pillar of cloud led by day and fire by night. Even in wandering, they were carried. The promised land awaited, yet even entry required wonder. The Jordan River halted its flow when priests stepped into its current. The walls of Jericho did not fall to swords, but to marching feet and faithful shouts. Sound became a weapon. Obedience became power. Throughout the days of judges and kings, miracles flickered like torches in the night. When a widow gathered her last handful of flour preparing for death, the prophet Elijah spoke hope. Her oil did not run dry, her jar didn't empty. Scarcity bowed to divine provision. Later, when her son fell lifeless, breath returned at the prophet's prayer. A child restored, grief reversed. On Mount Carmel, fire fell from heaven in answer to a soaked altar and a solitary prayer, proving again that the living God answers with flame and glory. Elisha, successor to Elijah, carried a double portion of wonder. A widow's oil multiplied until debts were paid. A barren woman conceived. Poisoned stew became harmless. An axe head floated upon water. And Naaman, a leper clothed in pride, was healed in humble river waters. Skin restored like that of a child. Disease washed away with obedience. Miracles were never merely spectacles. They were invitations to trust, to humility, to awe. In Babylon, young men refused to bow to idols, and so they were thrown into a furnace blazing beyond measure. Yet inside the flames, a fourth figure walked with them. Fire lost its power. Not even the scent of smoke clung to their garments. The miracle was not escape from fire, but presence within it. Daniel, lowered into a den of lions, lay down beneath golden eyes and terrible breath. Yet morning revealed a man untouched. Angels had closed the jaws of death. Faith had silenced hunger. And still the world waited. Centuries of longing passed beneath prophetic promise, whispers of a coming deliverer, a healer, a light that darkness could not overcome. Then, in a quiet stable beneath a Bethlehem sky, the greatest miracle entered the world not with thunder, but with a newborn's cry. The Word became flesh. Heaven touched earth in the fragile form of a child. Angels sang to shepherds. A star guided wise men. God stepped into human story. Jesus of Nazareth walked dusty roads, and miracles followed him like a fragrance. Water blushed into wine at a wedding feast, preserving joy where embarrassment threatened. The blind opened their eyes to first light. The deaf heard birdsong and laughter. The lame rose, leaping in astonishment. Lepers felt warmth return to their skin and ran home restored. Crowds gathered, hungry and weary. With 5 loaves and 2 fish, he fed thousands. Bread multiplied in his hands as if creation itself remembered its maker. Leftovers filled baskets, abundance overflowing from scarcity. Storm winds shrieked across Galilee, waves crashing into terrified disciples. Yet a voice rose above the chaos. Peace, be still. And the sea obeyed. Wind ceased, waters quieted. Nature recognized its Lord. Demons fled at his command. Chains fell from tormented minds. A woman bent for 18 years stood upright. A hemorrhaging woman touched the hem of his garment and felt life surge back into her veins. A father's dying daughter rose at his whisper. A widow's only son sat upright in his funeral procession. And then there was Lazarus. 4 days in the grave. Stones sealed. Grief sealed deeper still. Jesus wept, not detached from sorrow, but entering it fully. Then came the command that split death itself. Come forth, and the man walked out, grave clothes trailing behind him. The tomb surrendered its captive. But the greatest miracle was yet to come. Betrayed, beaten, crucified, it seemed the light had been extinguished. The sky darkened, the earth trembled. Hope appeared buried behind stone. Yet on the 3rd day before dawn fully broke, the stone rolled away. Death could not hold him. The grave lost its victory. Resurrection exploded like sunrise across eternity. This was not merely a miracle, it was the miracle. Life conquering death, love defeating sin, eternity open to all. After his ascension, the miracles did not cease. At Pentecost, tongues of fire rested upon ordinary people, filling them with courage and divine power. Fishermen spoke languages they had never learned. Thousands believed in a single day. A lame beggar at the temple gate stood and walked. Prison doors opened at midnight through prayer and song. Chains fell from apostles. The sick were healed by shadow and handkerchief. The gospel traveled across seas and empires, carried by those who had seen the impossible become reality. And even in visions of the end, miracles blaze across prophetic pages. Seas parted again, witnesses protected, light triumphing over beasts and darkness. A new heaven and new earth descending like a bride adorned. Tears wiped away, mourning silenced. The ultimate restoration, a world made new. Yet perhaps the most beautiful miracle threaded through every page is this. Transformation. Hearts of stone becoming hearts of flesh. Murderers becoming deliverers. Persecutors becoming apostles. Cowards becoming martyrs of courage. The bitter becoming merciful. The lost becoming found. The Bible is not a collection of distant wonders. It is a river of miracles flowing through human weakness and divine compassion. It tells us that no sea is too deep to part, no prison too secure to open, no illness beyond healing, no grave beyond resurrection, no soul beyond redemption. From Genesis to Revelation, the story sings with the impossible made possible. Creation, preservation, provision, healing, deliverance, resurrection, renewal, and the invitation still echoes through time. Look at the sunrise, miracle. Feel forgiveness soften your heart, miracle. Witness love endure where hatred once ruled, miracle. See hope rise after despair, miracle. The same power that spoke galaxies into being still moves gently through willing hearts. The same voice that calms storms still whispers peace. The same hands that broke bread still multiply grace. The Bible's miracles are not relics of the past. They are reminders of who God is, compassionate, mighty, near. And as this story closes, it does not truly end. It stretches forward into your life, into every breath yet to come. The God of wonders still writes miracles in quiet places, in healed relationships, in unexpected provision, in courage found at the edge of fear. For the greatest miracle of all is this, that the author of eternity knows your name, walks beside you, and invites you into a story where the impossible bows to love. And so the river flows on, wonders without end. Amen.